And that's what he was laying there.
Wow.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's actually
a
called,
rat snake. Absolutely.
it's called an eastern rat snake. It's not actually
Must have
called
gave you quite a scare.
Yeah, my heart.
Eastern rat snake and king snake are two totally different.
Good morning, guys. Today we are at Brasstown Bald for Snake Day, and you can hike to the top using this foot trail, but today we're doing it the easy way. We are taking the shuttle up to the top, and then I believe we are going to be seeing an exhibit of all the different snakes here in Georgia. Guys, my name is Don. You're watching The Better Hiker. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're hopping on the shuttle, and we'll see you at the top. Good morning.
Welcome to the mountain.
Thank you. Oh, the flowers are blooming.
Those are the mountain
So what are
laurels.
these, mountain laurels?
Mountain laurels,
Okay,
they are.
okay.
Rhododendrons
Pretty
next to
nice.
them have already blossomed, but
Okay.
there's some other rhododendrons that
I just
have
like
blossomed.
seeing them. Hey guys, well, welcome to the mountaintops. We took the shuttle up. You could easily take the trail here to get to the top of the mountain. I've done the trail quite a few times, but because I'm running late for the exhibit, we took the easy way. We're gonna take the trail back down.
Break for lunch, or you gonna be busy?
But we are now at the highest point in Georgia. It's called Brasstown Bald. I forgot the elevation that the gentleman in the bus said. But there's a really nice observation deck here, and we're here for Snake Day with an expert from the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. I believe her name is Kathy Church. How are you?
My name is Gerald Hodge. I'm the founder and CEO of the Appalachian Georgia Friends of the Bears. We're a nonprofit that promotes human coexistence with black bears. We asked humans to use some humane deterrents like you see on my left or right. We don't want somebody to pull out a gun to try to scare the bear, because what happens is they'll shoot themselves, shoot somebody else. They'll shoot the bear they're trying to scare, or they'll do property damage. Wildlife biologists tell us anything at 110 decibels or above, unless the bear's food condition or habituated, this stuff will cause the bear to go, relocate and want to go somewhere else.
Okay.
2/3 all human bear conflict is related to trash. So we want people to properly secure their trash to keep it out of bears' reach, because it does damage to their teeth and intestinal tracts, and plus it puts them around us. And although we love bears, we don't want them around us. Passing through is okay, but we want them hanging out at the house. We ask people to slow down, like my shirt says. Speeding kills bears. That's the reason why we have Ashley with us. Unfortunately, Ashley was killed last year in Gilmer County, Tennessee, by an automobile. She was 7 months old, weighed 33 pounds. I took her and we gave her to a taxidermist to taxidermy for her. So her death is not needless,
Yeah.
and we use her as an education tool to help educate the public about bears.
All right, guys, so let's go check out some snakes. We talked about bears. So is that a king snake or a rat
This is an
snake?
eastern rat snake.
Rat snake,
Yeah.
okay.
So I have a question.
Sure.
I used to work for a vet, and a number of our clients had boas for pets. From what you're saying, this would not be maybe a pet that you would want to have.
You can't have this guy as a pet. He's native. In Georgia, you can't have any of our native animals as a pet, period. No matter what they are.
see.
Yeah.
You're protected. isn't
Yes,
it?
they're all
Oh.
protected. We don't let
Not
people do
everybody can say
that for two reasons. Number one, you take them out of the ecosystem, our ecosystem.
Oh, wow.
Out my back door.
That's in Florida.
He lives with us.
I went swimming with
All
one
of the
last week. I'll
mangroves
show
down
you the
there where you've
picture.
got a
Same
whole
thing
bunch
as
of
that.
invasive snakes in there that are wiping out the guys.
The
that are
problem
supposed
with
to be
this one,
there.
I had a
that place is in a
bird
really
nest
bad situation.
outside that, and he
Yeah,
ate the
After
also,
the
if
eggs.
you let people take them as
after
pets,
the
they
eggs.
take them
He
as
heard
pets.
him and he got up there and
They
ate
take
him.
everything
Yeah.
with them. Yeah.
But I didn't
So,
kill him. I ran him
mean,
off.
You can't even bring them into the state. So if
'Cause
you
he
have a
kills
corn snake in
mice.
South Carolina
Yeah.
where they're legal, you cannot live here with it as a pet in the state of Georgia. You have to turn it over.
Wow.
So, or give it to somebody that still lives in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Because we don't allow it. Because we also don't want you getting tired of them and releasing them and competing with our normal guys.
Yeah.
Right.
So we don't want that happening.
So I heard a few things. You can't kill snakes in Georgia. Is that true?
Yep.
Okay. And then you can't move a bird nest.
Well, you want to put it right back where it belongs.
Okay.
That's the key because stuff happens all the time. Wind blows, bird nest blows out.
Yeah.
Most birds can't smell.
Okay.
Say for vultures, parrots, and we're now finding out a few hummingbirds, most birds can't smell. So if you
Okay.
find a nest on the ground and you know where it came from, pick it up, stick it right back up in the tree.
Okay.
My
And then
gosh.
get away and leave it alone.
Yeah.
Because the problem is if you're standing there, mama's not going to come back.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
not going to come back to it. She's not going to help the baby if the baby's on the ground. Just you
Yeah.
need to just go away.
So it isn't the smell that we leave
Oh, yeah, that's
on
an
them.
old- that's
It's
an
the
old
presence
wives'
of
tale.
people and other.
Yeah, it's the old
Animals
wives' tale
and
about
stuff.
mama smelling you on the baby and not touching it. That's an old wives' tale. Because they totally, especially your little songbirds and stuff, those guys can't smell.
So how old and how long is?
No way of knowing how old they are unless you're there the day they're born. And this guy, he's been with me 9 years now, and he was full grown when I got him, so he's got to be at least 10 to 12 years old.
And you say him, so we know for
Yeah.
certain it's a boy.
Yeah. Whatever. I call it the don't ask, don't tell policy. He didn't tell me. So, because all of their reproductive organs are internal. So if you're not careful and you don't know what you're doing, you can actually hurt them trying to find out. So if you're not breeding, you don't try to find out. You just leave them alone.
It's very confusing on date night.
Yeah, my general rule is if you look like a dude, I give you a dude name. If you look like a girl, I give you a girl name.
And the name of the snake is
This is Obi.
Obi.
His name's
Nice
Obi.
name.
Well, and it's not Obi-Wan Kenobi. I do like Star Wars, but it's because when I was in college a long time ago and first learned their scientific name was Elathi obsoleta. Obsoleta just means black. Okay? And that's when they were called black rat snake. They're not called black rat snake anymore because what we found out is that both the black and the yellow variety are the same snake. They're just two color varieties. Yeah, so now they're called eastern rat snake based upon where they are in relation to the Chattahoochee River. So if you're on the east side, you're an eastern rat snake. If you're on the west side, you're a gray rat snake. If you're farther north up into Kentucky, that's a black rat snake. They're different species. Can you see? Can you see back there?
What's the lifespan of these? Do you want to go?
20, 25 years.
Okay, so
And
that's
that's-
midlife.
That's if they're kept. In the wild,
Shorter.
if you make it
What do you
5 years.
think?
Yeah, absolutely, babe.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that soft?
It's kind of
Way
soft.
smoother than
Feels like leather.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, and that's why they make purses, wallets, shoes,
Yeah.
belts, all that kind of stuff out of snakes.
Which is why they're protected.
Yes, that's what again. We don't want folks to do that.
So even the tricky's got teeth, right?
Oh, yeah.
Teeth to help try to pull that.
Absolutely. Venomous snakes, the purpose of a fang is for the delivery of venom. If you don't have venom, you don't have fangs. Nature doesn't give you anything you don't need. It's kind of pointless.
You see the teeth, they're kind of backwards, so you wouldn't be able to pull them back.
Yep, that's the key. They have recurved teeth.
Oh wow.
A lot of your reptiles have recurved teeth because they're using their teeth instead of hands. So that's the way he grows. So their teeth don't match up. They can't chew, nothing like that. It is specifically for grabbing, okay? Which is something you have to keep in mind if you ever grab. Because you can't pull backwards. You got to do exactly. You're gonna have to push forward. You're gonna have to do what your brain says. No, 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 no. You have to push forward to get unhooked. So. With snakes, it's easier. With lizards, that's tough because they have a stouter jaw. With snakes, you can kind of get that open a little easier, but with lizards, not so much. It's like, man, I'm so excited to be out of that old skin. I just want to move around. Just want to move around and have a good time.
Has he ever tied himself up in a knot that he couldn't get out of?
No, because remember, it's just his spine.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't get stuck in a position. Huh? What?
He's asking if this was.
No, that's not his shed. That's actually from a rosy-tailed boa. So, a red-tailed boa named Rosie, so we call her Rosy-tailed.
He really feels comfortable.
Oh, yeah. He's been doing this with me for a long time. I got him out of the bat box with a garden hose, and we've been hanging out ever since.
With a garden hose.
Yeah, because he didn't want to come out of the bat box. And snakes are ectotherms. They can't control their body temperature, so they don't like cold. So the easiest way to get him out without hurting him or him
Cold
hurting
water.
himself was just fill it full of cold water. And he was like, well, I don't want to drown and I don't want to freeze, so I guess I'll get out of this bat box. Excuse you. It is not
he's
battery
not
nine.
poisonous.
He is non-venomous,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What about the other two?
So these are all photos so that you can see venomous versus non-venomous guys.
And these two?
So these three are all the same thing. These are
Okay.
all copperheads. And this is just to show people that when I ask people how can you tell a venomous from a non-venomous snake, the first word they always say is head shape. Until you look at that guy and you realize that non-venomous snakes can make their head look like a venomous snake to protect themselves. It's classic mimicry. So head shape you can't do. Eye shape you can't do because it seems great, but how close do you have to be to see those eyeballs?
Yeah.
And if you're a coral snake who's in the cobra family, they have round eyeballs. They have a round head. This is one of your most venomous guys. Luckily, he's really chill. But it's just to show you that you can't use color, you can't use pattern, you can't use fangs or no fangs, because if you're seeing fangs, you've already been bitten. That's really bad.
So that's avoid. That's avoid.
The rule of snakes is a simple one. Walk off, leave them alone. Take a picture if you want to know what it is, but just walk off, leave them alone. Because they're doing nothing but helping you. So, because these guys, when they eat something, it's gone. Their body digests everything. Every hair, tooth, toenail, bone, everything's gone. So that means if there are rats or bats or anything, they're gone. And if those rats had fleas, the fleas are gone. And if the fleas were carrying a disease like Black Death, the Black Death is gone. And because he's an ectotherm, he can't give you a disease. Our body temperatures are too different.
So it just dissolves everything.
Oh,
inside.
totally. Yeah, totally. If
Nothing
you're
left
seeing
to-
any bits in there, then that means that he's not digesting well. So it's not his area is not warm enough.
Okay.
So yeah, he's going to get rid of absolutely everything.
So when you're in the wild and you have to get bit by, let's say, a poisonous snake,
Mm-hmm.
I know people used to take tourniquets, but I don't
Never.
do that anymore.
That's the fastest way to
So
lose
what-
a limb.
Right. So what would you, if you would?
Three very, very simple rules.
Right.
Note my wording, I said simple.
Yeah.
I didn't say easy. Because rule number one is you stay calm. You got to stay calm because you don't want that heart rate going crazy. If you can remember to do it, aggressively elevate. So like say,
Elevate the
most people
extreme.
get bitten on the ankles. Stick that leg straight up in the air because it makes it harder for the blood to get up there. Pick up the phone and call 911. You were just bitten by a snake. If you don't have service, somebody's with you. Send them walking. Just lay right there where you are. Just chill out. Send them walking. Once they get where they got service, call 911. Then lastly, take its picture. Now, why do you think we take its picture?
Know what it is.
That is
Identification.
totally for your Instagram.
Yeah.
Man, hashtag snake bite. Okay, because here's the thing. There's only one anti-venom. Only one in the southeast. So, and we do not want to give it to you if we don't have to.
Right.
Because it's made with mango. And if anybody has an allergy to mango or anything in the mango family, they're actually more likely to die from anaphylaxis than they are the snake bite.
Do you mean the anti-venom
The
is
anti-venom
applicable
itself.
to multiple venomous snakes?
All of
bites?
these guys, save for this one, every
Same
venomous
antivenom.
snake found in Georgia and pretty much found in the southeast they're in this one particular family, the pit vipers. Okay, so all of the pit vipers have the same basic function in their venom. They're all hemotoxic, meaning your red blood cells actually rupture. Okay, which means your blood pressure is going to drop. You're going to bleed a lot. It's painful. All that kind of stuff. This is neurotoxic. But this is an extremely small, just very, very shy snake. Very rarely, the last snake bite, not death, bite recorded by a coral snake was in 2016. And before that it was like 1964. I mean, it's just very, very, very rare. So we don't keep it on hand. It exists, but we'd have to fly it in from somewhere else because most people
Yeah.
aren't that stupid.
we had a lot of those. I grew up in the Caribbean, so
Oh,
we
yeah.
had a lot of those.
And here's the thing, people say, oh, I just remember the rhyme. Don't remember the rhyme, because when you go to South America, that snake's blue. So remembering
No,
a rhyme about
they-
red
they're
and black
pretty
and
shy.
yellow
They're
doesn't
shy.
help when it's a different color. Yeah, all snakes can have aberrations. So this guy can be completely and totally black. This guy can be completely yellow with brown stripes. This guy in Kentucky has speckles, not a pattern like this. So you don't rely on one thing to figure out what animal it is. You just rely on your feet walking off. Say it again. Well, there are lots of dudes that are golden, but none of our pit vipers are going to be a gold color. So in Georgia, there's 46 different kinds of snakes. Only 6 are actually venomous, meaning that they can make you sick. There are other guys that are venomous. Ringneck is venomous. Garter snake is venomous. Hognose is venomous. Those guys are venomous, but they're venomous for toads. Doesn't really affect humans. Little ringneck, his is for bugs. So unless you have some freaky ringneck venom allergy, it doesn't really bother us because it's not healthy. Oh yeah, absolutely. And you don't have to have fangs to have venom. So these are hinge fangs.
Okay, I'm gonna
So when
stand
you
up.
have these guys that have the big long fangs, they have to be able to fold up when they shut their mouth.
Yes.
These guys have short fixed fangs,
just
so
stay
they don't
where they're
fold
at.
up. They just shut their mouth. That's
Okay.
simple. Garter snake has no fangs.
And what
The
kind
venom
of
is just
snake is
in
it
his
you're
saliva.
holding?
This is an eastern rat snake.
Rat snake?
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. It's just an enzyme in their saliva. We have enzymes in our saliva. I mean, the first thing when you stick food in your mouth, that's where digestion actually starts with amylase, which is the enzyme in your mouth. Peptidase is the one in your stomach. I mean, that's what breaks food down. For them, it just happens to paralyze before the food breaking down part starts. So,
The anti-venom's hard to access sometimes. So what is
and
the
very expensive.
what is the like
The
any kind of
window?
time frame window or because you're saying
you got
there.
days.
Oh, it's
In
that
Georgia, you got
long.
days. You're not talking about being in the middle of Australia or the middle of Africa. The most venomous snake on the planet's an inland taipan, but nobody ever dies from an inland taipan because he's found in the middle of Australia. And if you're stupid enough to be out there and mess with that snake and get bitten, you're not gonna get out because you need to be in the hospital within an hour.
Yeah.
Black mambas, things like that, you need to be in the hospital
So
within
there are
an hour.
some venoms that have to be treated urgently.
Oh, big time.
So there's a
But
time
not
frame.
here. There's nothing like that in North America. Now, again, if you have a pre-existing condition, especially if you're on something like blood thinners,
Okay.
that's a problem. You get bitten by one of these guys and you're
Because the
already
effect
on
the
blood
red blood
thinners,
cells.
that blood's gonna go quick. Okay, so that definitely, but the sooner you can do it, the better.
And what about during hurricanes? The snakes, they're in the trees, but they get spooked. They get flooding, areas get flooded, roads get flooded. What personality may not be the right word, but do they become more aggressive? Do they get scared? Do they
Nah, not really.
tendency to
I mean, there's a reason we call the back of our brain the reptile brain. Because a snake's brain is basically just this part back here, just the response part of our brain. So everything they do is just a response to something else. So, I mean, especially in places like Florida where you have hurricanes almost every year, they get used to that kind of stuff. I mean, in general, wildlife knows stuff is coming before we do. And they're a goner. If you go back and look at the massive flood, what was it, 2008 in Indonesia? The flood that killed like 215,000 people? If you go back and look, it killed, seriously, it was something like 215,000 people. And it killed absolutely no wildlife. Because they all knew it was coming and they all went straight inland and went up under the high ground. Because they can pick up on these low-level vibrations that humans can't pick up on. That's why people out west, like California and stuff, always watch their cows and horses. Because if an earthquake's coming, those cows and horses will tell you way before it ever happens because
stuff like anthrax?
they're feeling that. Absolutely. So, I mean, yeah, they're going to be upset because they may have been totally washed out of their habitat. They do not have that big of a habitat. If they get washed out of it, they starve to death because they can't find food. And especially if you're messing with them right after it's happened, everybody's, on edge. But usually they just, once things calm down, they go back, they're like, well, now I got to try to find some food. So they just go back about their business.
Do we have rattlesnakes here in Georgia?
Oh yeah, 3 of them.
In this area as well?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
This guy's very common up here. Timber rattlesnake is very common up here.
Okay.
Up here in this northern part of Georgia, all you have is copperhead and timber rattlesnake. Those 2 guys.
What kind of feeding cycle?
Every other week.
Every other
So these
week.
guys eat every other week. So he eats 2 rats and 2 chicks every other week.
Wow.
Yeah, he eats a bunch. Over half of the copperhead bites that happen in the state of Georgia are dry bites. There's no venom. The snake is just, you've stepped on him, something like that, you're scared, you just get hit, he just, boom, he wants
It's
to
a
stay
quite
away.
quick nip.
Yeah, he literally just goes pow, and that's it. It's called a fear strike. So they're just mouth open, just whap, hitting you.
No venom comes out.
Right. It's completely dry.
So is this venom just a response to feeding, like they want to
Yeah,
kill
this
a
is
prey?
their way of feeding themselves.
Right.
They do not like to waste it because it is made in a gland just like saliva. So when you use it, you have to wait for it to build back up before you can go
So
and eat.
ignore everything I saw in the movies.
Yes. LL Cool J is not being followed by a giant anaconda.
Snakes on a plane.
I know. Now, Samuel
Pure
Jackson,
fiction.
if he shows up here, then I will put a snake on that man just so he can use all of his, every line from that movie.
But finish what so you talked about a pin. Pin to
Yeah,
mark it,
just track it because that's the
track it.
biggest thing.
The spread.
Yeah,
The spread.
yeah. You want to know because if it's not moving,
Yeah.
first of all, if you don't get a lot of swelling and stuff, they got
Swelling and
nothing.
redness.
Yeah,
Right,
then
yeah.
you got nothing. It was a dry
Right.
bite. If you get swelling but it's not moving,
Yeah.
then it was just a little bit.
Okay.
If you got swelling and it's moving fast, and that's why you track it. Because when they get to the hospital, they're gonna look and see, like, as soon as it moves out of that circle, boom, another circle right to time, physically write it on their body. So that by the time you get them into the hospital, the
that's what
doctor
we
goes,
did.
woo, boy, that traveled
But
far.
the key is the elevation and limited activity, motion
Yep.
and everything.
Yep.
Right.
And no tourniquets, because people
Yeah,
always
yeah.
put them on too tight and they
Yeah,
lose a
yeah,
limb.
yeah,
It's that
yeah.
simple.
And when you say fast, are you talking like minutes, hours?
Again,
how-
it's gonna depend upon
Depends on
the snake, how
So if you're
much
seeing
you
really
got.
any progression outside of
scary,
its
yeah,
initial,
then
then
you-
you're watching.
Yeah,
Yeah, then you
and plus,
approach it differently.
if you're panicking, then
Yeah.
it's gonna make it move faster. And that's the point of staying calm and just literally stick that
I
limb
have
as
to
high
tell
as
you,
you
when
can.
you respond, you take the toughest rescue guy you can imagine,
Oh, yeah.
that should find a snake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're a-holes, that's what we do, we get rubber snakes and put them all over the place, all over the base, just to scare us.
Yeah, and interestingly
Then
enough,
we take good pictures and put them on Instagram.
yeah, the majority of people bitten by venomous snakes are bitten trying to kill the snake.
Yeah.
So you're actually safer just leaving it alone.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
as soon as you try to kill it, you just put yourself in reach. And you just became aggressive towards a wild animal.
Oh wow,
So
that's a
rat
big
snakes are
boy.
born gray, and they don't turn black till they're at least
I
2.
found him
It makes me- I think
underneath.
And this guy, we're pretty
Three
sure,
or
because
four
we're on the
bumps in his
border,
belly.
we're pretty sure he's a bit of a mix between an eastern and a gray.
I took
Which is why he
the
never
cover
really
off
flew
my
higher.
well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he was laying there.
Wow.
That's what this is. Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's
a
actually
rat
called,
snake? Absolutely.
it's called an eastern rat snake. It's not
thought it
actually
was
Must have gave you quite a scare.
Yeah, my heart.
Eastern rat snake and king snake are two totally different animals.
All right, guys, so we've made it to the top of the mountain. Man, look at these views. 360 degrees. It's a little hazy today, so you are seeing some haze, but very nice. I think you can see Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina and South Carolina from up here. All right, guys, well, that is it for our snake education here at Brasstown Bald, the highest point in Georgia, and Kathy Church from the Department of Natural Resources. She was awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please click like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.